that simple. I am not the be-all, end-all of fishing in New Brunswick or anywhere. I'm not the next Kevin Van Dam. And I'm not saying the next Kevin Van Dam's not out there. And yes, that person's going to have to work like a dog to get where they want to be. You know, I'm a capable angler. I'd like to think I'm fairly competent. I'm still learning a lot, and I will admit that. And I honestly think that's one of the biggest keys for me, is the fact that I'm willing to admit that I have a lot to learn. You know, but I'm quite proud of what I've accomplished up to this point. But at the end of the day, what I've accomplished means nothing if my actions cause other anglers to leave the sport. If I start sending them on wild goose chases, places that I know they're not going to catch fish. If I start telling lies about what I've done and I can go to this body of water and catch a 6-pound bass, and that person goes to that body of water and catches a 2-pound pickerel. You know, it's not about me. It's about everybody else, as far as I'm concerned. You know, especially the young people or new anglers. If you've been fishing for 20 years, yeah, okay, you're going to try something new. Okay, I've been bass fishing for 20 years. I want to go fishing trout. You know, hardly ever done it. Anyone got some pointers? You know, at that point, you don't necessarily need to know spots. You need to know what to look for. You'll be able to identify the spots yourself. You know, but at that point, you're probably also doing some research on your own, the same as most of us do every time we go fish a new body of water. If I'm going to a new lake or a new stretch of river, I'm Googling, looking for pictures of the area. I'm going on Google Maps. I'm looking at the layout. Which way does the river flow? Oh, there's a lake. Where's the inlets? Where's there streams that flow into them? You know, where's there a rocky point? Where's there a shoal? What am I looking? You know, it's all stuff that, and you know, some stuff you cannot see till you're actually there. But at least if you use these tools, especially now with the technology available, you can do a lot of your own research. And then with the help of mature, responsible, and sensible anglers, you can get out on the water and you can have a good day on a body of water you've never been on before. Now, am I going to tell you you're going to go out there and you're going to slam 17 or 18 pounds and take home a trophy and a check? No, probably not. If you do, great. You know, more power to you. But don't count on it. You know, but help each other out is what I'm saying, folks. Let's grow the sport. Let's not grow our own egos. Unless you make your living with a rod and reel in your hand, you are not a professional angler. You know, people hear guys like me who represent different companies and they'll hear them say, well, I'm pro staff for Southern Yankee Baits. Yeah, I am pro staff for Southern Yankee Baits. And I'm pro staff for Northern Michigan Outfitters. And I'm field staff for Fish Bum Outfitters and War Dog Lures. Guess what? Same thing, different term. The pro in pro staff does not stand for professional. It is promotional. I am not a professional angler. I am someone who takes it very seriously. I'm someone who puts a lot of time, effort, and money into what I do. But I am not a professional. I do not make my living with a rod and reel in my hand. I don't make my living recording this show. There's all kinds of weekend warriors, if you want to call them that, out there who haven't affiliated themselves with any companies. They're no different than I am. You know, and I'm no different than they are. Just because I have affiliated myself with some companies does not mean that I'm any better, that I'm any higher quality, any lower quality. it's just the nature of the business. Some guys choose to do that stuff. I like being involved. I like being active. I like promoting stuff. So it's all out there. Some guys just say, no, I just want to go fish and have fun. We're all at the same level. None of us are making a living with a rod and reel in our hand. And that's what it comes down to. So help each other out, grow the sport. Because maybe that person you just soured, maybe they were potentially the next Kevin Van Dam. But because you had to be a whiny little, I'm not even going to, I try to keep this show family friendly, so I'm going to bite my tongue and not use the word that I was thinking. But because you know, were miserable with them online a few times and discouraged them, now they're giving up on fishing altogether. Is that fair to them? Is that fair to any of us in the sport? You guys hear me on here all the time, cheerleading for our Canadian anglers in particular. I mean, I love watching the FLW and BASS events no matter what. But, you know, here we are again this week. You know, Gussie finishing just outside the top 10. The FLW event in Beaver Lake. You know, all the guys having respectable finishes and having great years. I think we've still got 3 guys. I'd have to go back. I meant to look at the standings before I started recording, and I forgot to, but I think we've got Gussie, Chris, and Corey all still in the top 12 in Angler of the Year points after 3 events. You know, with only, you know, 4 full-time Canadians fishing the tour, and 3 of them are in top 12 in Angler of the Year points in one of the most competitive tours in the world. Why wouldn't I want to be a cheerleader for that? Why wouldn't I want to encourage more Canadians to strive for that? I'd love to have somebody that I was involved with introducing them to the sport of bass fishing carry on to that level. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to go to that level myself. But the next best thing would be to say, hey, remember that guy you introduced to tournament fishing in 2016? Well, here it is in 2026. He's fishing in the Forest Wood Cup. Or he's fishing in the Bassmaster Classic 10 years later. Wouldn't that be an amazing feeling, folks? Wouldn't you rather have that feeling than know that you were acting like a keyboard warrior punk and chasing somebody away from the sport? It's just, like I said, folks, what we have to focus on is the health of the sport, not our own egos. Anyways, rant number 2. Took a couple little sidetracks, but I got there eventually. 2 rants, 23 minutes. I only go for 30 at the most, so that pretty much tied up my time. Once again, congratulations, Gussie. Another great finish. I know you were feeling like death warmed over all week, sick as a dog, but you still got out there and you got it done. You know, you should be very proud of yourself, especially the way you were feeling. I don't know if you'll ever hear this, but if you do, man, congratulations. We're all up here north of the border in the bass fishing community. Very proud of you. You know, Chris, Corey, Curtis, all you guys that are down there, you're living a dream for so many of us that it doesn't matter if you finish, you know, first or last, you're still doing something that most of us just dream of doing. Hold your heads high, guys. You know, you're all doing awesome for, you know, making us proud, or making me proud anyways, to be a Canadian angler. To be involved with, you know, some great Canadian companies. Like I said, Fish Bum being a Canadian company is a huge joy, joy for me to work with them. Recently, I've started working with Mike Henderson, Hooked on Canadian Angling, the Canadian Bass Angler fan page. Working with Mike on a couple projects. Another great, bunch of Canadian anglers. It's all great. I mean, I know I've got people that listen out of the U.S., and not to take anything away from anything any of them are doing. But if they'd ever come up here and see what the market is like for fishing, especially tournament fishing here in Canada, you'd understand just how hard it is for a Canadian to accomplish what they're accomplishing. For Charles to get to the Bassmaster Classic this year, for Chris and Corey and Gussie and Curtis to be down there fishing full-time FLW and holding their own when they come from the Great White North, the land of the ice and the snow, where the season is desperately short, as was discussed last week on Ian West's show on Fear Fishing. The tournament season in Ontario is basically only 3 months long. It's hard to, if you can't afford to travel, it's hard to really make a mark for yourself, which is why a lot of people think that, bass fishing, tournament bass fishing will be never more than a hobby sport here in Canada. I'd like to think they're wrong. We have to get anglers in the mentality that they're going to have to travel to New Brunswick, to Quebec, to Ontario, travel around different provinces, different seasons, make the most of it. Here in New Brunswick, we've got a 6-month, 7-month tournament season. If people are willing to travel, and we can get businesses on board that are willing to sponsor anglers. There's the big thing. Money, 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 money. If you can get businesses on board that are willing to help these guys out so they can travel, there's the key. It's not going to be an easy task. It's not going to be happen next year. But I think the potential is there if we get the right group of people working behind it. So, anyways, folks, I want to wrap up for this week. And before I go, I want to remind you, follow on Twitter and on Periscope at NBSFA. At NBSFA. On Twitter and on Periscope. And my own personal is at Quackers, Quackers, 1976 on Twitter and Periscope. The reason I mentioned the NBSFA account first, starting May 7th, Harvey Lake, our season opener, 7th of May, 2016, 4 p.m. Atlantic time, so it'll be 5 p.m. in Ontario. We will be, 4 p.m. Atlantic, 3 p.m. in Ontario. I'm backwards today. Our first live weigh-in broadcast. Streaming live starting at 4 p.m. Atlantic, 3 p.m. Eastern. Our weigh-in will be broadcast live on Periscope. We are going to try and do this every year. There's a couple bodies of water where I'm not positive on the cell signal. I have to investigate that to make sure we're strong enough to broadcast. But that is our intention, to broadcast as many weigh-ins as possible. You can check out the NBSFA on Facebook or go to the NB Bassin Facebook page. Go back through my pictures. I think it was the second or third picture I posted was the 2016 schedule. And I will talk about it every week, coming up, leading up to an event, where we're going to be, what time our weigh-ins are going to be, all that sort of stuff. Check us out on Periscope at NBSFA. Make sure you follow us on Periscope so when we go live, you're going to get the notification and everything's going to be ready to go, and you can see just what's getting done here for bass angling in New Brunswick. Thank you once again to Fish Bomb Outfitters, Southern Yankee Baits, War Dog Lures, Northern Michigan Outfitters, Hooked on Canadian Angling, to my wife, my son, to all of you who listen every week. I can't thank you enough. To my friends that have supported me, through all this, who have encouraged me and helped me become a better angler. I can't thank you all enough. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Donald Patterson. This is NB Bassin. If you have any questions, drop us a line, nbbassin@gmail.com, or send us a message on Facebook. Look us up, NB Bassin. Follow me on Instagram, Donald_Patterson. I've already rattled off the Twitter links, but I'll do it again, at NBSFA, at Quackers 1976, and for my Fishing for Memories tournament, which you've heard me talk about, at Fishing, the number 4 Memory, at Fishing for Memory. Ladies and gentlemen, for NB Bassin, this is Donald Patterson. In life and on the water, set the hook, keep those lines tight.